Good afternoon. It is 5 o'clock. It is Monday, August 11th, 2025. I'm your Black Sheep meteorologist, JT Lamb, and let's jump right into the radar, which is empty, which is quite nice. We haven't had a clear radar in several days now. Taking a look at our visible satellite imagery, though, as we take a look at that, you can see that cold front here just right along the Mississippi Valley, running from about Milwaukee in the lower peninsula of Michigan back down into Oklahoma and Texas. That's that same front that brought us the storms a few days ago. It's been hung up and not really moving. You can see the milky appearance in the satellite image in the eastern Dakotas across Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's our wildfire smoke that is coming in, and you can definitely smell it outside. If you've been out today, you would definitely know that there's wildfire smoke in the air. Taking a look at the rest of the country, it's pretty quiet. You can see a tropical wave moving across Florida. Take a look at that in the infrared imagery. There's a little bit of a data glitch going on with the National Weather Service and the satellite imagery. But you can see that tropical wave across the eastern portions of the Gulf of Mexico to the west of Florida there. No development expected with that, but it will probably bring some heavy rain into Texas here in the next couple of days. Looking at our fronts and what the weather's going to look like here in about 12 hours. So this will be for 1 a.m. tonight. And you see that cold front sneaking in across Minnesota from about the Baudette area over to Wheaton. And that will eventually move in and cover most of the state. So by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at most of Minnesota being behind that cool front, northwestern Wisconsin as well, and all of the Dakotas. Now you're going to see a pattern develop here, which is that we have another cold front coming into Minnesota, and that will come in overnight going into Wednesday. And then by Wednesday evening, 1 a.m., actually be noon, or 1 p.m. on Wednesday. There we go. See that cold front moving through, and you'll see that warm front out here coming from the low that's on the Wyoming-Montana border. And the warm front will swing north over the day Wednesday into Thursday, and that will bring that cold front back north as a warm front, introducing more heat and humidity. We'll see that in the forecast coming up. Looking at our day one severe weather outlook, there's a marginal risk across northwestern Minnesota into the eastern Dakotas. A marginal or just general thunderstorm risk, not even marginal, just general thunderstorms across the rest of the most of the Dakotas and across most of Minnesota. Taking a look at our wind outlook, that same area in the marginal risk has a 5% chance of severe wind, and same with severe hail. But the tornado risk is confined mostly to northern Missouri, so that is good news. Taking a look at our day two outlook, pretty quiet across the upper Mississippi Valley. Unfortunately, eastern Wisconsin lined up again with a marginal risk. That runs from about the Madison and Baraboo and Portage area up through Green Bay, that's it, Green Bay, up through the northern UP of Michigan, up around the Marquette area. Day three outlook, and this is where we start seeing that system coming in for Wednesday. That marginal risk across most of the southern half of North Dakota and the northern third of South Dakota, and that extends just barely into the Fargo-Moorhead area into Minnesota. Then day four, they actually have a slight risk projected across most of that same area, the eastern half of North Dakota, the northwestern part of Minnesota from the Baudette area down to about Wheaton, and then basically just dipping into the Aberdeen area in South Dakota. That is a 15% or a slight risk, a level 2 out of 5, for severe weather on day 4, which would be Thursday. And the other thing to note is our excessive rain outlook, and that actually is kind of a bit of a surprise. That shows up, and what it's showing us is a risk of excessive rain. It's a marginal risk, rather, across western Minnesota. That covers the Red River Valley, goes back into North Dakota, a bit towards Jamestown, Aberdeen down towards Sioux Falls, and then in Minnesota, that runs all the way from Halleck down to the Sioux Falls area, comes all the way over into the southwest Twin Cities, so areas around Eden Prairie, Shakopee, Chanhassen, down towards Jordan and Savage, and then that goes back up towards Long Prairie, and then back up towards Halleck and back into North Dakota. Tropical storm, though. We have tropical storm that has developed here in the eastern Atlantic, and this is Tropical Storm Erin right now moving to the west at about 20 miles an hour, just east of the Cape, or west of the Cape Verde Islands. And that is projected to be a tropical storm through Wednesday afternoon. But by Thursday morning, we're looking at hurricane. And then by Saturday at 11 a.m., they're projecting a major hurricane with winds up to 120 miles an hour. So that is something that we're going to have to watch for the southeast coast of the U.S., including the Bahamas. And that could go anywhere from the Florida Keys and go off into the Gulf of Mexico, or it could curve and go up into the Carolinas. That would be anywhere from 6 to 10 days out, so quite a ways out from the forecast that we are comfortable with making. And speaking of our forecast, let's look at our forecast. It looks pretty good, actually. The rest of today, high around 83, a low tonight of 68. Tomorrow, that cool front swings through. It's only 83 for the high again, but that low of 58. And that should be the worst of our smoke being tonight. Tomorrow night should be really good, actually. Open the windows, give the air conditioning a break because you're going to need it the rest of the week. Wednesday night, we have a chance of thunderstorms. Otherwise, sunny day, 83 with a low of 67 overnight. Thursday, same thing. Sunny skies and a high of 85 and a low of 68. Downright muggy and miserable on Friday, a high of 90 and a low of 70. And then Saturday afternoon going through Sunday afternoon, we introduce a chance of severe weather. It's a 40% chance of thunderstorms pretty much from midnight Friday all the way through to Sunday. But Saturday looks like the day that could have the most severe weather. 40% chance, as I said, all the way through, but something to keep in mind if you have outdoor plans for the weekend. And over the weekend with the cloudier skies and storms, 84 for the high, and lows will be in the upper 60s. Right now, the models do bring us some cooler weather into Monday, but that remains to be seen if that's actually going to make it all the way down here. And that is your forecast and your look at the weather here on Black Sheep Weather. My name is JT Lamb, or John Lamb, and if you enjoyed this, I'm very thankful you did. And if you did find it insightful or otherwise educational or useful, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share it with your friends. That is how we grow the channel and get this weather information out to more people. Again, my name is John Lamb, and that is your look at Black Sheep Weather.